Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having an incredible day. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. I almost forgot that part, but let's jump right into it. We have entered into a very weird state of things within the cryptocurrency space. The last couple of weeks I know have been quite trying for a lot of people. In that the US SEC decided to do their march of nonsense, whatever they've been doing to try and get Binance and Coinbase as in trouble as humanly possible. And also the news of the unregistered, unclassified, whatever securities within the United States market as well. For some reason, and I can only assume that the reason is stupidity. Excuse my French, but it seems to simply be this way in that a very large portion of the news that's being released over the last couple of weeks, and the word is not even sensationalized, where, you know, it can be deemed as clickbaity. The news is simply just not real anymore. A large portion of it, at least a large portion of it, as I go over daily news within the cryptocurrency space. There were allegations that Coinbase was going to court because of money laundering, insider trading. Remember the news story that we had with the guy from Coinbase who sold off his stock, and everyone was like, he knew that the SEC was coming, and I had to but it's these kind of scary things that we keep getting in the news. There was also the news story that we had about Binance Nigeria. For those of you who missed it, Binance Nigeria was told by the Nigerian SEC that they were not legal within the country, and everyone was like, oh my gosh, it's happening. Every single country is getting rid of Binance. And then the news actually was that Binance Nigeria was created by a random person. They literally created a website called Binance Nigeria, and they had no affiliation with Binance, the real Binance, at all. On top of this news, over the last couple of days, what has been poking its head into the cryptocurrency news space is that Binance was leaving the UK. It's been everywhere. Everyone's been talking about it. Binance apparently is doing this, or they were not approved for a number of pieces of paperwork and or registration, and therefore they're getting kicked out of the UK. If they get kicked out of the UK, it's because they're getting kicked out of the US, and therefore they're expecting other European markets to also kick out Binance as well. I'm pretty sure you see where I'm going with all of this. It says, troubled cryptocurrency exchange Binance continues to withdraw from major markets amid the ongoing pushback from global regulators. Binance Markets Limited, BML, Binance United Kingdom's base subsidiary, has officially canceled registration with the Financial Conduct Authority. If you're looking at the screen, first of all, this set a lot of people off, and a lot of people were talking about that Binance coin was getting ready to fall, collapse, whatever, all over the place. For those of you not looking at the screen, on the screen, it says, disclaimer. The article has been updated based on Binance's response to Cointelegraph, stating that what Binance Markets Limited has canceled were its existing permissions, which were not in use and unrelated to crypto activities. And I say this in the nicest way. Cointelegraph and CoinDesk, I believe the other one is, these are the largest news publications within the cryptocurrency space. Normal journalists and news publications usually, at least before, used to do a heavy amount of due diligence. You have to be careful when you're as large as Cointelegraph or CoinDesk and you have millions of people who are clicking on your articles on a daily basis, releasing falsified news or news that you have to then add a disclaimer to, as they were one of the very few websites to actually do so, can have a massive effect on markets. A lot of people do not read articles, they read headlines, they panic, they send their friends a screenshot of the article title, because many people aren't going to be taking 15 screenshots of the entire article. Their friends panic. They send it to another friend. That friend also panic. Word spreads very quickly. Prices begin to drop. The news is, for the last couple of days, was that Binance was leaving the UK markets because of regulatory incompliance. In that, Binance simply threw up their arms and said, we don't want to be regulatorily compliant. You can go eat mud or whatever people eat in the UK, and therefore, we're leaving. And then the news became that Binance simply didn't do something right, and they were being kicked out as opposed to actually leaving. And then the news has been confirmed, at least now at the time of me making this video, that Binance simply didn't continue a number of their pieces of paperwork or permissions that they had because they apparently hadn't used them in a while. So if we're not using them, if they're not in use, if they're costing us money every single year, why would we continue with certain permissions? And it could be something as simple as being able to custody for a company, being able to hold money for a certain amount of time, being able to transfer money to another country from the UK financial authority or whatever the actual case might end up being. Yeah, it says Binance cancels registration with UK's FCA. This was all over the place, and a lot of people were saying it had to do with the US SEC, and therefore the Binance dominoes were falling. I'm still not. I have a very strong feeling why, and I've mentioned it before in other videos, but I still can't, for whatever reason, figure out why people don't like Binance. Like, what explicitly, like, and with proof. Don't tell me that you heard something in 2021, because I remember reading the comment section, and everyone kept on saying that they heard that Binance was doing something shady. Binance was doing something false. They heard that Changpeng Zhao had ties to this country, and this country was getting ready to take over crypto, so therefore it's been this behind-the-scenes, thing, and it all ended up being false. Once again, the same exact thing with Ethereum, the same exact thing with Ripple, the same exact thing with Cardano. All these lies that get told that people maybe want to believe is actually true. Nearly, as far as I can tell from doing daily news, nearly every allegation against Binance and Changpeng Zhao since 2018 has been false, or people made it up online, both being, the exact same thing. So yeah, the major news is no, Binance is not leaving the UK. They simply had some paperwork that they did not feel like re-registering. Yeah. It's getting really bad because once again this moves markets and it destroys the wealth and the money that people have been working to build. Just because someone or people want to release falsified information, whatever the reason might actually be. That's the Binance news. And yeah, let's move on. Also in the news that we've had before, but now people are clamoring for it, Deutsche Bank has applied for a digital asset custody platform license with the German finance regulator, the Federal Financial Supervisory Authority, or BaFin, according to a Bloomberg report. Can anyone tell me when we had this news before? I can't hear you, but I know someone definitely said it. The reason why, if you watch all of my videos or any of my videos, you hear me say constantly, if you were here 2 weeks ago, if you were here 3 months ago, if you were here back in 2017, I'm not doing it to fill time. I'm doing it because I always need you to understand the timeline. Everything in this market, everything in this space is either hyper cyclical and it keeps following the exact same patterns, or the vast majority of time we've had this news before and or news like it. But when it ends up being re-released or reconfirmed, everyone begins to throw their hands up in celebration saying, wow, I can't believe this is happening. Back around in 2020, We had heard from a number of companies, banks, institutions, and hedge funds that in 2019 that they thought the cryptocurrency space was the worst thing that was ever created by humans. It was only used by losers and criminals, and this was around the time when Warren Buffett became exceptionally famous within the cryptocurrency space because people kept on thinking that they could either convert him to crypto or that he was lying in some sort of way. I told you, he is 949 years old. Who cares what Warren Buffett thinks? Even weirder, for those of you who were here the last couple of years, you remember, this is why I was like, okay, I'm done. When the guy who created Tron, Justin Sun, I think it was several $1 million he paid to have brunch with Warren Buffett. I was thinking of Lauryn Hill, Warren Buffett, and then it never ended up actually coming to fruition. And I was like, those millions of dollars could have helped pay for a lot of things on Tron and or used to pay developers to build things on Tron, but I digress. Back in 2019, the cryptocurrency space was a mudslinging world. Everyone hated everyone. The cryptocurrency space was horrible, terrible. Everyone kept on telling us we were losers for being in the space. And then for some reason in 2020, we started receiving news that a large number of banks were actually in crypto. That's where the entire thing of 2014, 2016, 2017 comes in. A lot of the people who told us in 2018 that crypto was a scam told us in 2020 that they had been in the market since 2014. A lot of the people who said that crypto was never going to rise again in 2019 told us in 2020 that they were definitely in the cryptocurrency market. They saw a huge future for it. And Deutsche Bank, along with many other banks, were some of those entities. And they told us explicitly that they were, and a bunch of other banks were trying to get into the cryptocurrency space. The news was, at least back then, in the United States, I believe it was dozens of banks. I think that was the word that was used for the US. And in Germany, I believe it was 300 banks were trying to get some type of regulatory approval to be able to have a cryptocurrency exchange and or be able to custody crypto themselves. 2020. In 2023, we now have the news again that Deutsche Bank is applying to become a registered, licensed cryptocurrency, you name it, whatever. And this, of course, has caused a lot of people to completely lose their minds as they just didn't pay attention to the news that was happening before. I don't think there's been any deviation from the original plan, and this is where we are. Speaking at a conference earlier this week, Deutsche Bank's global head of corporate bank, David Lin, said that the bank is building out our digital assets and custody business, and confirmed that it had put in an application to BaFin for a digital asset license. The German bank has reportedly been working on a crypto asset custody platform since late 2020. That's crazy. With a view to establishing a minimum viable product in 2021 while exploring global client interest for a pilot initiative. With assets, and then they talk about how rich Deutsche Bank actually is. They're worth $1.3 trillion. Fantastic. Must be nice to be them. So yeah, here's the actual article. It's originally from Bloomberg, who first reported on it. But Bloomberg is one of those websites where like, hey, you want to pay $300 per year? Oh, you can't. Sorry, you can't view our news. So you get to see at least the headline right here. Deutsche Bank attempts to gain crypto custody service licenses. Deutsche Bank reportedly applies for digital asset custody license with BaFin. And I believe this is an article from 2020 from something called Dagcoin. Why not? German banks are excited to offer crypto services. Yes, this has been going on for a while, and this is once again. I've seen people before, and I think people just like to complain, and I try to get them to simply understand. A lot of people a lot of times complain that I keep saying like time frames. I don't know why. Why would that bother you? Why? That's like whatever. I don't get why people have these things that how are you watching my videos if everything that I do annoys you? I simply cannot figure it out. This is why I do time frame, so that you understand, because a lot of times we'll hear news. It's the headline news of the day, and I'm like, don't forget, we heard this 9 months ago. One of my main mantras on this channel is, don't pretend like you didn't know this news when we've gone over it multiple times. This was big news in 2020 because I was like, this is it. We have confirmation that these banks are getting into the space. When you talk about cryptocurrency prices falling, collapsing, there being like scary things in the news, and then we keep hearing that whales are buying up these coins, who do you think the whales are? As a German bank, an American bank, a French bank, as in any bank, you cannot offer your clients Bitcoin services unless you have the Bitcoin yourself. Someone just went, oh, yeah. Who do you think is buying all of this stuff? When you hear that people are building, these countries are building on top of Ethereum, do you think they're simply going, I like decentralization a lot. It's really, really fun. Or do you think they're also accumulating Ether in the background because they now have their chips on the table for that coin? We've heard that there are hundreds of banks around the world who are getting ready to, this year or the next, to offer their clients cryptocurrency custody services and or to be able to buy crypto from the bank. How are you going to your local bank and buying crypto if they haven't bought? Oh, wait. Your local bank is buying up tons of cryptocurrencies right now, and this is why we keep hearing all this whale news. So yeah, Deutsche Bank, it has been relatively confirmed through Bloomberg, is trying to get BaFin access paperwork or whatever. I will tell you this, they're probably not the only one, and there probably are at least 15 more who are trying to do the exact same thing. I want desperately everyone who's in the cryptocurrency space to become mind-numbingly wealthy. Like I want you to have so much money by the end of 2025 that you're like lightly scared. Like it's almost like winning the lotto. What do I do with all of this money? Like I want you to have that kind of feeling. But I fear for the cryptocurrency space because it is inconceivable for any other market that we can get a nonstop avalanche of nothing but good news and accumulation from all these companies. Not only can prices fall, I believe that's due to whale manipulation, but the amount of people I know who are continuously buying things like Pepe, Tron, other crappy coins, and own no Bitcoin and Ethereum, that's not financial advice. It's literally just logic at this point, is absolutely scarily staggering. Because in the year 2030, if we have a $500,000 Bitcoin, a $35,000 Ether, please don't write me in my comment section telling me that you simply did not know. Anyway, moving along, that's the Deutsche Bank is officially getting into Bitcoin and crypto. I wonder where they're going to get that crypto from. News. And yeah, let's move on. Also in the what news, MasterCard, a leading global payment technology company, has made headlines, I guess, with his recent filing of a trademark application related to the development of crypto and blockchain software. The move suggests MasterCard's intention to explore and potentially harness the potential of cryptocurrencies and blockchain technologies in their suite of financial services. I'll tell you right now, they are. Do you want to know why? Remember back in 2019, we had news that people thought was fake. That Visa, that is VISA, the card, was getting into the cryptocurrency space, and people were like, nah, it can never happen. They don't care about decentralization. And then we had news that PayPal was getting into crypto, and people were like, what? Why would they be doing that? Bitcoin's decentralized. These old payment methods understand that they are old and ragged. Excuse my language there. The idea is that they know where this is going. Follow the money. Always look at what the big players are doing. It's one thing if one or two of them does it, but when we get news that PayPal, Visa, and MasterCard, and Deutsche Bank, and JP Morgan Chase, and Fidelity, and BlackRock, and hundreds of banks around the world are getting into it, it's no longer a passing trend. This is something that's here to stay. Visa announced a number of years ago that not only would they be supporting Bitcoin, but also Ethereum. They said they want to make new digital payment rails to make Bitcoin and Ethereum a lot easier. We saw a lot of these companies talking about that they would be supporting the Bitcoin Lightning Network. Why would they be doing this? Why would the old systems be integrating something new? Why is there a domino effect in that when we hear that one does it, 15 other ones also do it? Why is there still confusion as to what this market is and it is going to be in the future, and how large it is right now, and why they're all trying to get a piece of the Bitcoin pie, and why we keep seeing cryptocurrency exchanges getting in trouble, wink, for something that banks are also doing, or sometimes not even doing anything actually illegal and or bad at all. It's all part of the game. It has to do with money. They understand how big this space is, and they want all of it. The people who already control everything want to control even more of everything. It's so blatantly obvious. It like drives me completely insane. I try talking to, I've relatively given up there, but a lot of friends who aren't into finance, I do actually, it sounds cheesy, but I do worry for their financial future. They don't save. They don't invest. They have no assets. Like they don't even it's gotten to the point where I know people who just collect Yu-Gi-Oh cards and Pokemon cards. I'm like, at least they somewhat appreciate in value in the future, so you'll be able to sell them off to buy assets or stocks or whatever in the future. But having nothing is just I don't understand how you don't think that you won't need to retire and or have any time. Anyway, got completely off track. So the news is that MasterCard is trying to deepen their stance into crypto. They announced in 2021, similar to Visa, that they were also getting heavily into the cryptocurrency space. It just seems completely logical. This isn't like a, clutch my pearls kind of event where I'm like, what? MasterCard too? No, they're all into it. I wonder how big this market is going to become. When you talk about projections of a $1 million Bitcoin, you're talking about a $15-20 million cryptocurrency market. I wonder how much of the traditional financial world that crypto is going to actually absorb. And I still am a firm believer that we are in a position where we are going to see crypto become not only mainstream, but one of the main forms of finance or usage or ways to store money and wealth and cash and stuff like that. And then the people who don't have any, we are in such a position now to, I don't know. You want to say what I'm saying? We are the early adopters. We are still only several hundred million who are into multiple different coins, but when that becomes 3 billion people, we're going to be in a completely different world. And I would like for the people who are already in crypto to benefit from it the most. It makes no sense for you to be an early adopter and then be outpaced by people who enter the market in 3, 4, 5 years. So yeah, MasterCard is filing a bunch of paperwork and trying to get trademarks for things in crypto. I assume they're going to try and do something as cringy and similar to Visa. For those of you who missed it, Visa is, they recently, the last thing they did was apply for something where they make an additional level between payments and Ethereum and someone else. So you would have to send the money to Visa. Visa would get so you have to send your crypto to Visa. Visa would get the crypto. It would go to a third party, and then that third party would then send it to a fourth party. And it's that's blockchain with extra steps. So yeah, Large entities are in the space, not getting into the space. They are here. And I want all of you to benefit the most because, you keep listening to my ranting every single day. It has to amount to something. That's the MasterCard news. I do sincerely hope that you have all enjoyed. I do hope that you are all having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever the heck you might be. I do hope that it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and or supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.